One of the highest awards that Zeta Psi gives, or actually probably the highest award that Zeta Psi gives for an individual, is the Distinguished Service Award. We call it the DSA. And it's usually for like a lifetime of achievements towards Zeta Psi. And this year, Stu Bowers is one of the recipients of it. And I think it makes, perfect sense. He's been completely involved in Zeta Psi since the 70s when he originally pledged Zeta Psi at the University of Maryland.
I remember the day Stuart came to our house as a rushee. In typical fashion, I was the rush chairman at the Phi Epsilon chapter, and we were trying to get ready for a function, and there was nobody else around. I was running and scrambling, and in walks this kid who nobody knew, and he was right on time, and we weren't quite ready. So I remember I was in the living room trying to get some things done, and I remembered my 5 points of rush. You meet a guy, you make him your friend, you involve him with the fraternity, ask him to join, you keep rushing him. Well, I met him, I made him a friend. I said, here, help me out with this. And honest to God, right away, he popped right in and started helping. And he was right there getting the house ready for a rush function. He had no idea what was going on, but without hesitation, he jumped in. And he hasn't stopped helping out since. I knew we had him then. I knew we had him, and we are all so fortunate that we did. I went on to become a staff member at Zeta Psi after I graduated and helped establish a Leadership Training Institute, which was a big undertaking. So who was I going to call to help me get it done? Nobody other than Stuart Bowers. And Stuart, again, took right into it, helped us prepare materials, get the thing going, get it running, and from day one he hit the ground running and helped us get the LTI off the ground, and without his help at that point, it wouldn't be where it is today. Personally, before I got married and I came back, I got off the staff and we moved back in, I had the good fortune of living with Stuart and Alan Dubin, who's here tonight, and Andy Fox was here yesterday, other Zates. We had our townhouse not far from campus, and he's a great roommate, too. He had everything in ship shape. There was nothing wrong in the house. One day I came home and I saw him on the couch watching television, and he was home. He had a great job on Capitol Hill that he didn't actually like. He was working for his local congressman at the time as his appointment secretary, and we had just had an opportunity at our office. The lady who had been taking care of all the stuff in the office got fired that day, and I knew a guy who could really make that place hum, so I told Stuart, go in tomorrow and talk to the boss and see if you can get that job, and we squared the thing away. He went in there, got hired right away, worked in our office as the office manager, and then he rose the head of the operations in our office. They brought him over to the headquarters here in Baltimore. He soon rose to be the head of operations at the company. Wherever he went, wherever he goes, he makes things better and better and better, and has done so consistently since the very beginning. I remember I attended a meeting that we had when he was retiring from Legg Mason to start a new firm, a consulting firm with a couple other guys, and we all had to go around and say something. And I just remember being it was a little club in Baltimore, and all the executives from Legg Mason were there, and at the time when he left, I said, Stuart Bowers is the most capable guy in the room, and he was then, and he still is tonight. So we're very lucky. It's hard enough to do a presentation about somebody you love so much and somebody who you really feel is your true brother, and I feel that way about Stuart. And I asked for help from so many guys that we go into school with and we do things with, and we're very, very close. Stuart and Mary, his partner, and Ann and I, we tailgate together for football games, we sit together for basketball games, we vacation together. They've seen our kids grow up, they've seen them become Zates. Everything we've ever done, we do with them. They are as close as blood relatives would be. And I asked everybody around, I said, well, what do we say about Stuart? I mean, I was asking, can you help me out a little bit? Give me a little material, something to work with that we can say, that we can have some fun with. And I said, what about that time, Stuart? And everybody, no, he just he just gets it done. It's just he just gets the job done. I asked Andy Fox, I asked everybody over here. Nobody can come up with anything other than you're dedicated in everything that you do, whether it's here, whether it's the Terrapin Club, the Kidney Foundation, anything that you've ever set your mind to. He's a man who gets the job done. And it applies in his private life too. He's done very well in his consultancy. Now in his career, he's very respected in the industry. He's one of the top in his field. He and Mary are so generous. They managed to build us a house in Naples, Florida. They managed to build us a great place at the beach. So it's great when you're that close. And actually this week I've been living with them in their nice condo right over here in Baltimore. So it's fantastic. But it's really been great to do that. I'm truly fortunate. I consider myself fortunate to have met that young man those many years ago as someone who became then and still is one of my closest friends. And he's a brother in every sense of the word. And for all of you who were there yesterday and heard his talk about loving your brother and being close and being a friend to your brothers, that's what Stuart is to me and to all of us. And it's one of those things. I saw our friend Mike Frymark here earlier. He's an English teacher. He said, make sure you tell everybody, just make it easy. Just say that we all love Stuart. And it's absolutely the truth, and he loves us. So I'm going to read this to you now. Pretty cool. All right. Here, give me a hand holding this, Stuart, just like you were when you were Rashid. All right. This says, a Distinguished Service Award to D. Stuart Bowers, member of the Phi Epsilon chapter, initiated January 1978. In grateful recognition of his lifetime of extraordinary generosity to and steadfast support of the Phi Epsilon chapter of the Zeta Psi fraternity, the Phi Epsilon of Zeta Psi Elder Association, the University of Maryland, the International Fraternity, and the Zeta Psi Educational Foundation, in profound appreciation for his dedicated and loyal service as the Phi Epsilon active chapters Alpha Sigma, Gamma, and IFC representative, as well as his service to the International as Fundraising Committee Chair, Technology Committee Chair, Capital Campaign Committee Chair, Trustees, Secretary, Treasurer, and Vice President of the Zeta Psi Educational Foundation, and as a member of the Executive Committee, Sigma Alpha, Alpha Phi Alpha, and Phi Alpha of the Zeta Psi Fraternity, Inc., in recognition of a lifetime of extraordinary service and generosity to the Zeta Psi Fraternity, Zeta Psi Educational Foundation, to the International Fraternity Movement, and to mankind. Presented at this 172nd Convention of the Fraternity in Baltimore, Maryland. Ladies and gentlemen, Stuart Bowers.
When we have our tailgating crew here, obviously, too, the chief bartender of the Maryland Zeta Tailgate. Thank you, Mike, for such a wonderful award presentation. When the awards committee asked who should give the award, it's like, well, how about my best friend? I'm humbled to receive this Distinguished Service Award, something I've seen awarded over many years to Zates who have done such great work for our fraternity. It is nice to have this awarded to me at this convention when so many of my Maryland Zeta brothers can be here, both elders and actives. I'm also proud to have my Delta Gamma mother, Jane Lynn, from University of Maryland. My sister, also a Delta Gamma from Roanoke College. Her husband, Paul Minch, is trying to figure out why he was invited here tonight. And my nephew, Gary Mitchell, who's the Seton Hall Zeta elder. If only he had joined when I wanted him to, he would have gotten a couple more years out of it. But anyway, he's good. To all the Phi Epsilon actives and elders here tonight, a special thank you. It's hard to believe that the little fraternity that I joined in the fall of '77, that was 1 year old at that point, and that we fought to keep alive after all the charter members graduated. I think we were down to 8 members at one point. Pledged 16 men that semester. Is now thriving with sharp young actives and a host of elders being engaged. If someone had told me that Zeta Psi would be in a house on Fraternity Row, be among the largest chapters in Zeta Psi, and be one of the larger fraternities on campus, I would not have believed them. It makes me very proud, brothers. Somehow I've followed Mike Freeman's footsteps in most of my Zeta life. Mike also told you he was responsible for starting my career at Legg Mason that lasted 27 and a half years. Mike made big footsteps and he set the bar high. Importantly, he was always there for me when I needed him. Thank you, Mike and Ann. And of course, Steve and Adam, who I have seen grow to terrific adults. Most of my friends are Zates, and I think you'll find that. I sort of mentioned in my Phi Alpha speech yesterday. And you only have to come to a Maryland home game tailgate to see that in spades. The place is swimming in Zates at that point. My Zate life has been guided by so many Zate leaders. I'm not even going to try to name them. Many of them are here in the room tonight. All these leaders were focused on one goal, primarily, providing outstanding undergraduate experience that better prepares men for success on campus, with their careers, and with life. I've tried to make sure that remains our focus and on the friendships that come from a close brotherhood. We teach young men things that they don't teach in these fine universities. Nowhere on campus do they give kids $100,000, $500,000 budget and say, go figure this out, and do budgets and collections, and they talk about it, but they don't have the learning lab that we have in a fraternity. Then there's Rush. No one, just other than Mike Freeman, is a born natural Rush chairman, right? There's a few of you here. Alex, I would put you in that camp. But meeting people, making them friends, introducing their product, asking for the order, and keep selling works in everything you can do in life. If you're an engineer and have to make a presentation, you need to know this. If you're a salesperson, you can practice as a Rush chairman or a Rusher in your chapter, and at Maryland, if there's 30-some thousand students, there's 15,000 males, most of them are unaffiliated. You can do a lot of practice and not lose your job. So when you get in the big real world, and I'm quoting the distinguished Drew Bagwell here, you'll be a step ahead of all those ahead of you, because you've been practiced at those skills in life that will serve you forever. We also teach people about the importance of brotherhood and friendship. I spoke about that yesterday. I hope all of you are trying to make a friend here in this room who's not from your chapter, not from your circle of friends, and working to stay in touch. Be proud of your fraternity, your brothers. Celebrate the good. Brothers help you celebrate the good times, and more importantly, they're there for you in the bad times. Never feel like you're alone. There's a brother there to help you. Reach out, and never be hesitant to reach out to another brother, ever. I know I will try. Indeed, a great honor, one I will hold dear. Thank you, brothers.